Have you ever stopped to think about how many times you give up something important for yourself in order to please someone else or fit into the expectations of the world around you? We live in a fast-paced routine, bombarded with various demands that range from professional responsibilities to social pressures. In this hectic pace, it becomes increasingly common to neglect our own needs and the internal signs of tiredness, stress, or dissatisfaction. As a result, we often don't recognize our limits and end up feeling exhausted without knowing exactly why. We might even blame ourselves. But the problem is not a lack of effort. It's a lack of direction and awareness about what we truly need. This video aims to guide you on a path of self-knowledge and personal strengthening. We will talk about 7 secrets that practically show how to enrich your essence and recognize your genuine needs. Before we begin, I ask you to remember to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. It helps us a lot and costs you nothing. Let's go. Strengthen relationships that value you. We are all social beings. We like to share experiences, aspirations, and achievements with the people around us. However, not all relationships provide the same kind of support or reciprocity. Some may even drain our energy and generate negative feelings, especially when there is an imbalance between giving and receiving. Strengthening relationships that truly value you means cultivating connections where respect, empathy, and mutual support are key. This implies, for example, recognizing the signs of stressful relationships and, in an assertive and compassionate way, seeking greater closeness with those who bring something good into your life. To identify which relationships deserve more investment, do an honest self-analysis. With whom do you feel you can genuinely be yourself? In which conversations or exchanges of messages do you feel welcomed, understood, and motivated? On the other hand, who triggers feelings of guilt, insecurity, or anxiety? By bringing these answers into your awareness, you begin to realize that, although it's not always possible to completely move away from certain people, you can redefine your ties so they don't negatively affect your well-being. Strengthening relationships that value you also requires being willing to give honest feedback and receive constructive criticism from those who truly care about you. Clear communication, free from judgment and focused on mutual understanding, becomes a great ally. Developing this skill improves your self-esteem as you start to feel worthy of attention, respect, and kindness over time. Your close bonds become sources of positive energy, driving your personal growth and reinforcing your conviction that you deserve to be valued. Number 2, recognize your own needs. That's the start. Simplify things a little and take a deep breath. There's so much work to get to here. If we ask someone, what do you really want out of life? The answer is often vague or filled with doubts. That happens because recognizing your own needs requires self-knowledge, the practice of internal observation, and the courage to admit what truly fulfills you. While we move through life on autopilot, simply meeting external demands, we lose touch with our genuine desires. If that's why, setting aside moments of introspection through meditation, reflective writing, or inner dialogues helps separate what is truly a priority from what's imposed by our environment. I should go to sleep. I need sleep. I should feel sleep. I need to rest. Like to recognize your needs. It's important to listen not just to your mind, but also to your body. Many times physical symptoms, headaches, constant fatigue, restlessness, reflect neglected emotional tensions. When you start to notice these signals, you can better understand what requires immediate attention. Whether it's a break to rest, a sincere conversation, or even a deeper change in your routine. With that awareness, it becomes easier to distinguish superficial wants from the desires that truly nourish your soul. An interesting way to deepen this process is by setting clear priorities. Make a list that includes aspects such as health, relationships, finances, personal projects, and long-term dreams. For each one, describe what you understand is ideal and what is missing. To reach that point, by putting everything on paper, it becomes more evident where you need to take action. And don't forget, recognizing your needs doesn't mean ignoring the people around you, but rather creating healthier conditions so you can offer them your best. No. 3. Manage your time and energy. Time and energy are equally valuable resources, and both can run out surprisingly quickly when we don't pay attention. The difference is that while time is invariably linear, our energy fluctuates according to physical and emotional factors. To manage these resources well, The first step is to have clarity about your priorities, those you identified when recognizing your needs. And the general way of describing the difference between the two is to consider the following identities. Knowing what truly matters makes it easier to choose which activities deserve your focus and to refuse what doesn't align with your purposes. A practical way to organize your day-to-day life is to use planning tools such as calendars, to-do list apps, or even methods like Combine or Bullet Journal. These tools help you visualize demands, set deadlines, and distribute tasks in a rational manner. However, it's crucial to remember that your body and mind also need rest, blinking to help you reduce stress and improve your mood. If you overburden yourself, you tend to fall into cycles of stress and anxiety, which in the long run can compromise not only your productivity, but also your quality of life. Energy management involves understanding your own rhythms. Some people function better in the mornings, while others are more creative at night. By identifying your energy peaks, you can schedule more complex tasks for the times you have the most drive. Also remember to include strategic breaks to disconnect and recharge. Something as simple as a 10-minute war can dramatically shift your mental and physical state. Thus, managing time and energy is not just an organizational skill, it's also an act of self-care, insisting that everyone show up. Number 4, develop your innate abilities. Each person has a unique set of talents and abilities that deserve to be developed. Unfortunately, they are often overshadowed by external demands or by insecurities about dedicating oneself to something new. When you open yourself up to improving what you are naturally good at, you begin to feel more confident and fulfilled. This move to invest in your strengths is not an act of vanity, but rather of personal and professional growth. To discover or remember your innate abilities, think about which tasks you perform with ease, or in which situations you lose track of time, because you're completely absorbed. Also consider asking close friends or colleagues, who can offer a very valuable outside perspective. Next, look for ways to improve courses, specialized reading, online tutorials, and deliberate practice. The more you delve into what you love doing, the more likely you are to achieve rewarding results. Developing your talents not only nurtures a sense of purpose, but also increases your capacity to contribute positively to the world. Whether in community projects, at work, or in creative endeavors, you become a reference in what you do. The return may come in the form of professional opportunities, social recognition, or simply personal satisfaction. Each step you take in this direction reinforces the belief that investing in yourself is one of the most generous acts you can offer others, because by putting your abilities into action, you create value that radiates beyond you. Keeping a regiment of mental practices to keep you strong in this area of your life. Number 5, celebrate achievements and progress. In a world that constantly emphasizes what hasn't been achieved yet, it's easy to forget how far we've already come and how much progress we've made. Celebrating each victory, no matter how small, is powerful fuel for motivation. This act of recognition transforms small steps into a source of encouragement to continue on your journey. More than just a simple celebration, it reaffirms your internal accomplishments, resilience, perseverance, courage that often aren't visible to others. Your celebration doesn't need to be grand or expensive. It can be something simple like making a special meal, writing in a gratitude journal, or sharing the good news with people who root for you. The important thing is to set aside some time to reflect on what has been accomplished and which obstacles were overcome. By noticing how many challenges you've already managed to conquer, the confidence to take on even bigger projects emerges. This dynamic creates a virtuous cycle. The more you recognize your own progress, the more capable you feel of moving forward. It's worth noting that celebrating achievements is also a way to break free from excessive self-criticism. Rather than focusing only on errors or gaps, you learn to value the process and the lessons along the way. This doesn't mean settling for the status quo, but rather balancing the pursuit of improvement with the joy of each completed stage. By highlighting small victories, you remain aware of your growth and nurture your self-esteem, thus becoming more resilient for your next goals and challenges. Number 6, live in the present moment, rather or constantly surrounded by distractions. Whether it's phone notifications or anxiety about what the future may hold, this tendency to overthink what's to come or what has already passed can rob us of the richness of now. Living in the present moment is an exercise in mindfulness. It's choosing to give your full attention to what's happening, here and now, whether it's a simple task a conversation with a loved one, or a leisure activity that recharges your energy. A way to strengthen this presence is to practice mindfulness, which involves observing your sensations, emotions, and thoughts without judgment. For instance, when eating, try savoring every bite, paying attention to textures and aromas. When talking to someone, maintain eye contact and make an effort to grasp the essence of what's being said, instead of mentally formulating your next response. These small adjustments help you establish a deeper connection with everyday experiences, making them more meaningful. By living in the present, you also reduce the space for anticipatory worries or lingering regrets. That doesn't mean abandoning planning or reflection on the past, but rather diminishing the emotional strain that comes from being stuck in scenarios you can't fully control. Learning to be where you are brings balance, because it slows down the chaotic flow of thoughts and creates an opportunity to experience life in all its richness. From seemingly mundane routines to those special moments that shape our emotional memories, and like those active in the mind, especially work that reduces inflammation and reduces stress. Stiffness is often contrasted with injuries, such as from seemingly mundane routines like PTSD and PER-7. Set healthy boundaries. Setting healthy boundaries is not the same as building insurmountable walls. Rather, it's creating a framework of protection that allows you to be respected, while still showing respect for other people's choices. Boundaries help you communicate to others how far they can go, and what is unacceptable. When you don't set boundaries, you risk saying yes to everything, taking on burdens that aren't yours, accumulating frustrations, and potentially exploding in moments of tension. To set boundaries, it's crucial to first understand your personal needs and values. If you know you need time to study, for example, it's important to be firm in declining invitations that could interfere with your plans. The same applies to interpersonal relationships. Be clear about how you prefer to be treated and which behaviors you won't tolerate. Although it may initially cause confusion or resistance in some people, upholding these boundaries strengthens your self-esteem and prevents emotional strain. But communication is also essential. When you verbalize your boundaries clearly and respectfully, it becomes easier for those around you to understand what you need. If even so, someone persists in breaking those boundaries, this is an opportunity to reflect on the quality of that relationship, and if necessary, make adjustments. Remember that healthy boundaries act like a compass, guiding your well-being, ensuring you have room to grow, create, and build relationships in a fulfilling way. If you want to continue exploring each of these topics, consider taking daily notes on what works and what doesn't work for you. Try to notice how small adjustments in your routine, or in how you relate to yourself and others, can bring about significant transformations. Each stage of this process is an invitation to embrace your uniqueness and cultivate a continuous state of well-being. For example, healthy suppers can be useful in emergencies because they can relieve the pressure of concentration. After all, prioritizing yourself is not a luxury. It's a necessity that makes us more human and able to live with wholeness. I hope you enjoyed the video. And since you made it all the way to the end, write Armored Wisdom in the comments. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. See you soon.